The quilt had been folded over the back of the rocker for 2 years, half finished, because I could not bring myself to sew the last seam. One side was cut from Daniel's old flannel shirts, soft red and brown. The other side was Marcus's, the blue work shirts he wore in his 20s. All that was left was to join the two halves down the middle, and I kept not doing it because my two sons had not spoken to each other in 3 years, and it felt like a lie to stitch them together in cloth when they would not sit at the same table. It started over our father's land, the way these things do. A fence line, a few harsh words at the lawyer's office, and then a silence that hardened like a frost that never breaks. Daniel said Marcus was greedy. Marcus said Daniel always thought he was better. They were grown men with gray coming in at the temples, and they sounded exactly like the little boys who used to fight over the front seat of my car. I had tried everything a mother tries. I carried messages back and forth like a tired little dove and got nothing but pecked. I had cried into that quilt more than once. I am 72 now, and I will tell you the truth. I had nearly decided to leave it alone, to let them be two men who happened to share a mother and nothing else. It felt easier. It felt like keeping the peace, staying out of it, not stirring the pot. I told myself that for a whole winter. Then one Sunday, our young pastor preached on the Beatitudes, and he read a verse I had heard 100 times since I was a girl in pigtails. But that morning, it landed on me like a hand on the shoulder. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Matthew 5:9. And something in me went very still in that pew. Peacemakers, he said, not peacekeepers. A peacekeeper only wants the quiet. A peacemaker walks into the storm and pays for the calm with her own hands. I had been keeping a peace that was really just two men frozen apart. I had called my own cowardice patience. I drove home and I sat down at that rocker and I sewed the last seam. Red flannel to blue work shirt, all the way down the middle, my hands not as steady as they once were. And while I sewed, I did the braver thing. I called Daniel and asked him to Sunday dinner. Then I called Marcus and asked him the same. I did not tell either one that his brother would be there. I am not proud of the trick, but I am not sorry for it either. That Sunday, I set the table the old way, with the leaf in it, and I laid the quilt over the bench between their two chairs. Marcus came first. When Daniel's truck pulled in, I watched my older son's jaw go tight, and for one terrible moment, I thought he would turn around in the drive. He didn't. He came in. They stood in my kitchen like two stones, and I was so frightened my hands shook over the gravy. It was Marcus who saw the quilt. He reached down and touched the blue squares, then the red, then the seam where I had joined them. "These are our shirts," he said, quiet. Daniel looked, and I said the only thing I had. I said, I am too old to keep two sons in two houses that won't speak. I'm not asking you to be right. I'm asking you to be brothers. And then I said the verse, because it was all I had left, about the peacemakers being called the children of God. Nobody fell weeping into anyone's arms. It is not that kind of story. But Daniel pulled out his chair, and Marcus pulled out his, and they ate at my table for the first time in 3 years, awkward and careful, passing the rolls. It was a beginning. They are mending slowly, the way a seam holds, one stitch, then another. I learned that peace is not the absence of trouble. It is something you make with trembling hands by stepping into the very gap you would rather avoid. And I learned that when an old woman does that small, brave thing, she is doing her Father's own work, and He calls her His child.